In this lesson, we will be looking at translating sentences into algebraic expressions. Again, expressions have no equal sign in them, so just expression. All right, so the first thing you're going to see is the sum of 15 and x. So sum, you need to know, is a word that means to add. So I am adding 15 and x. You can choose to write it like this, or most people would choose to write it like this. Typically, you list the variable first, but either way is fine. You're adding 15 and x. The next one, the product, and product in the math world means to multiply. So I am going to multiply 4 and y. So I can multiply, I could just write it as 4 times y, or you can just simply write it as 4y, which is assumed to be a multiplication problem when you don't see a symbol in between like that. All right, a number decreased by means you're going to subtract. So you have a number that you're going to decrease by or subtract 7. You can use any variable. You can use x, y, z, whatever you want. Draw a fish, it doesn't matter. But some number that you don't know, which you're going to represent as x, and then subtract 7. All right, 5 less than a number. Less than also means to subtract. This is a super common kind of problem that people make a mistake on. Many people do this. They go 5 minus x because they just translate it literally. 5 less than means to subtract. A number is x, and they want to write it like that. Okay, but here's what I want you to think about. Let's say the number x was 12. Okay, if I write it like this, 5 minus 12, does that mean I'm taking 5 less than the number? No, it means I'm taking 12 away from the number 5. Okay? So when I'm wanting you to do 5 less than the number, that means that I have to take the number. 5 less than that means I subtract 5 from the number. Don't subtract the number from 5. Okay? You know the quantity you're subtracting. You're subtracting 5. All right, 1/3. So 1/3 you would write like this. The square of x. And so the square of x is written like that, x squared. Some of you might write it like this. This also means 1/3 the square of x. I know it doesn't really look like it, but it does. 1/3 the square of x. There's a multiplication symbol in here. And when you multiply a fraction, 1 times x squared is just x squared. So there's like this imaginary 1 right there that you don't need to write. So either this or this. Either one would be fine for that. All right. 15 and oftentimes means to add as well, and it does in this case. 15 and 5 times a number. Okay. 5 and a number. So now I'm taking 5 and means to add a number to it. A lot of you will write that as x plus 5 too. And that whole, the result, so that means that whole quantity, the whole quantity 5 plus x has to be divided by 3. That's one way to write it. Or, and most of you won't do this, but some of you will take 5 plus x and realize that dividing by 3 is the same as multiplying by 1/3. So you can write it like that as well. Make sure if you're going to do it like that, though, you have to have it in parentheses. Okay? Now, I want you to kind of read the next two sort of together and see how they sound and look differently. 5 divided by x minus 2. So 5 divided by x minus 2. That's how that one would be written. Okay, then in the next one, 5 divided by the quantity. So when you see that word quantity in there, that means it wants you to group whatever is coming next. So I am going to take 5 divided by the quantity. I am going to group this part of the statement. That's what quantity means to do. So x minus 2 would be written like this. X minus 2, but I'm dividing by that whole quantity. Okay. Same thing here. X plus 3 squared would look like this. X plus 3 squared. Or, of course, x plus 9. Okay, that's how it looks there. But then if I say the quantity x plus 3, okay, so that quantity, x plus 3 now is one quantity, and I'm going to take that quantity and square it. All right, last one in this lesson. A used bookstore sells books in excellent condition for $2.50 and in fair condition for 50 cents. And you need to write an expression that represents this situation. Okay, so I'm going to say that excellent condition is E. Okay, and I am going to say fair condition is F. And if I want to figure out how much money I'm going to make depending on how many books I sell, this is what it would look like. I would generate $2.50 for every excellent book I write. So I would take however many excellent books. If I had 5 excellent books, I would take 250 times 5. If I had 12 excellent books, I'd take 250 times 12. If I don't know how many excellent books I'm going to sell, like I don't in this case, then I will call that E. Okay? And then 50 cents for every fair book you sell. And again, if you sell one book in fair condition, 50 cents times 1. If you sell 8, 50 cents times 8. If you don't know how many fair books you're going to sell, then you're going to do 50 cents times F.